Previously on Jackanory. The Egyptian pantheon of gods was sent into utter dismay and gloom when the god of chaos Set plunged the light of the world Osiris into the deep dark chest. What will happen next? Find out here on Jackanory.
God blimey, sweetheart. I couldn't believe Set had done this to my beloved brother. It was Splitsville time for me and Set. Divorce. I was already furious at him for spending time with that hussy, that Jezebel, that angel of fire Aso of Ethiopia, and their Ethiopian gang of misfits. But this took the old biscuit. It took it to a whole nother level. One that I could not forgive.
Set tossed the chest containing Osiris into the River Nile, where it floated away to Syria. When hearing about the incident, Isis broke down with sheer grief that her husband had been assassinated, and went on a search to find his body to make sure he entered the paradise of the underworld. She went all over the Middle East trying to find him, when one day a group of kids said to her, "Go and ask the king of Byblos. We think your husband is there."
Well, I was going out of my mind at this point. I was running around like a headless chicken, so I was going to take any chance on any lead. It didn't matter at the time if the snotty-nosed brats were fibbing or not. I would have gone to every corner of the earth to find my big O.
Isis got to the king's palace at Byblos, Syria, and found some interesting things.
Yeah, so I got there, and I see this huge, beautiful palace with trees and wooden pillars all around. I see all these maids with filthy, dirty hair. Children running riot. It was a mess. A beautiful palace, don't get me wrong, but scruffy people. So I sat down with the maids, opened up conversations with them to find out all they knew about my husband and the wooden bejewelled chest he was floated off on. I sat down and braided all of the maids' hair, and they told me these stories of how a chest floated out of the Nile into the great green sea, where it landed inside a tamarisk bush, where it quickly grew into a mighty tree enclosing the chest.
The Queen of Syria returned home after a day's shopping at an expensive department store, and was amazed that all the maids have funky braided hair and smelled of the sweetest perfume she had ever smelled. The maids all pointed at Isis, who was disguised as a regular woman at the time. The Queen, not knowing she was talking to the Queen of the Gods, offered Isis a job looking after the Queen's infant son, which Isis accepted the job to get a covert access to the palace.
The little brat was a nuisance I could have done without at the start, but I soon got very fond of the little boy I was looking after, so I thought I would do my party trick of giving him the gift of immortality by passing him through the fire, just like the big St. Cupids and Elite do at Bohemian Grove in California to this very day. But the silly queen came in and shrieked, "Don't burn my baby! Don't burn my baby!" So I didn't.
Isis revealed her true self to the Queen of Byblos at this point.
Man, you should have seen her face. What a picture! She ended up begging me to put her darling boy in the centre of the fire. But by then, the whole stinking family had annoyed me. So I said, "Screw you! Just tell me where my husband's chest is and give it me back. Now!"
The King and Queen of Byblos simultaneously pointed to the big pillar holding up the palace's roof. Isis raised the roof to the ground and dragged back Osiris's chest back to her papyrus boat to sail back to Egypt. Set saw all of this, and one night, by the light of the sunset moon, he opened up the chest and cut Osiris's body up into 14 pieces and tossed the body parts into the Nile. It was a November to dismember and remember the chamber that held Osiris's member. O Seth was to blame. all of the timber of the chest turns to lumber, and left nothing but a number, and the spark of an ember burned with no flame.
Man, I was livid by now. What more could Set do to upset me? He went all Dexter Morgan on me now, with the dismembering of my beloved's body and dropping the pieces into the River Nile. Thankfully, my sweet, lovely crocodiles would not eat my big horse body, as they knew that would upset me even more. So I dove into the river as soon as I returned home from my errands, but I could only find 13 of the 14 bits of Osiris. I frantically searched the whole Nile Delta for the 14th part. And you know which part was missing? Of course, the only useful bit on him. His meat, his strudel, his banana, his 21st digit, his ding-a-ling, his little man. I could have screamed. Well, actually I did.
Yes, she screamed and howled and was unable to calm down, so she frantically looked and looked for Osiris's manhood. Osiris was complete enough to have the ceremony that anointed him king of the underworld. But Isis was still not happy. She wanted a child to continue their legacy and destiny.
So I sat down under a tree one day and contemplated all my options. I had a little chat with my old friend Thoth, and we came up with the notion of, hey, I am a goddess, I can do lots of things. So I got a chunk of wood from that old chest of Set that caused so much trouble. I carved into it just the right shape and just the right length I like. Yes, like the song says, even an angel, or in my case, a goddess. Even a goddess gets her freak on. Sometimes you just got to get them. True. So I'm a goddess. I don't want just wood. So I fashioned a beautiful, smooth, shiny tip made from the purest gold, and my husband was complete.
Isis tried all the magic she knew to get this dead man to rise. Not his whole body would, but she got the bit that she wanted to work, just as she desired.
I know what my man likes and what he doesn't like. I was his wife for years, you understand, so I knew his favourite bird was a falcon. So I got my costume making stuff out, I got my rubber, got my leather, I got my tickling feathers, and I got my angel wings out to make me look like a falcon for him. I flew into the air and kept swooping over him, down and up, wind through my hair, my robes askew, my halo dimmed. I gave him everything. The love in my heart swelled, and so did my big oars, and look what it gave me 9 months later. Oh, my perfect baby, Horus!
Horus grew up to be the gods' favourite king. He was the sun on the horizon. He was everything to them. His eyes were the moon and the sun. He was half falcon, half human, all god. He was the light of the world, the anointed king, the son, the saviour, born of immaculate conception. He walked on water. His halo rays shone to bring salvation to the world. He was also furious at his uncle Set. Horus grew up to be the strongest sun god to live in this section of the multiverse, but he could just not get his troubles off his mind. Horus and his virgin mother, Isis,
Well, that's what she told him.
planned and plotted until a big showdown took place between Horus, the sun in the horizon, and Set, the last rays in the day.
Oh yeah, it was a right titanic battle of wills. The end of an era. The SmackDown showdown to end all SmackDown showdowns. We fought tooth and nail, eye for eye. As you can see, that tough so-and-so whipped out my moon eye. If anyone sees it, please give me eye back. But I was not going to let that little disability stop me. I needed to avenge my father. So since I was the Prince of Peace, I showed him. I cut him up into little pieces and cast the pieces far and wide.
So yes, the ones who demand their right are usually the ones to blame. It's no more dismembering, not in my name. It's time to break the chain. An eye for an eye and the world will go blind. Isis and Horus went a little idol crazy. Everywhere Isis went, she erected a tall monument as a wanted sign saying, "Where is my husband's penis? I still haven't found the real thing." And these obelisks popped up the whole world over in the strangest of places, as war memorials, as places of religious worship, as places of political power, as centres of towns and cities all over the world. And she often built buildings representing her ever-longing womb, desiring more and more children with her beloved Osiris. These domes popped up at every religious place, political place, places of historical and modern-day power.
I just want me and my husband in constant companionship and union. My wood tipped with gold is all right, but as I told the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, to sing, ain't nothing like the real thing, baby, ain't nothing like the real thing.
Horus was not to be stopped either on his quest for searching for what he wanted. He wanted his eye, so he put his picture of his missing eye everywhere. Half Falcon, half human, the Eye of Horus. The picture of his eye can be seen the world over, and his good eye.
Oh yes, me good eye, me all-seeing eye, light of the world, eye of God, me. I asked for me elite subjects to celebrate that by putting it everywhere. You will find my picture in all sorts of places. The $1 bill in America, the intelligence agencies the world wide over, the Big Brother state logos and cameras. I am watching you. I am all-seeing.
We will leave this story with a speech from Thoth. Remember him, friend of Geb and Nut, the Kofi Annan that brokered the moonlight deal to get Nut's children born. Thoth is a very wise man. He is one of the most important and respected Egyptian gods in the pantheon. He was symbolized and drawn with the body of a man and the head of an ibis water bird, and a baboon, a mandrill baboon. He is the original Rainbow Mandrill. He invented writing, astronomy, and science. He and his wife Matt kept the chaos of the multiverse in order, never letting the balance of good or evil, light or dark, masculine or feminine, to ever be controlling the other one. He loves harmony, like the sunbeam's serenity, burning gently, burning sincere.
And so the story continues. The world keeps on turning. The obelisks still keep erecting. The dome still keeps wanting and expanding. The eye keeps blinking. The Trinity is strong and is worshipped by a small minority knowing and a vast majority unknowing. But remember, we are everything, and everything is all. We are a tiny speck of hate. We are the pride of standing tall. We are the vastness of all time. And we are the doubts of 1 second. It's more real than real can be, so please try to pretend you understand. I am you, and you are me, and we are all together. We are the love in each other's hearts. We are the same aspect acting independently, but was, are, and always will be connected as one in the sea of everything and nothing, the infinite, eternal, unconditional love of consciousness. Peace be with you. Your Rainbow Mandrill friend, Thoth.